So I want to talk now about something that many people find a little confusing, which is the diamonds in the diamond approach, right? That's something that even people actually within the diamond approach, many people struggle with a little bit. And I'm hopefully going to show you that actually this is something that I think many people can relate to. So the other day I was having lunch with a good friend of mine who is an architect and primarily these days now a mathematician and a modeler. And he spends a lot of time building mathematical models of really challenging problems in the world to analyze them and understand them. So he's very smart, right? He has a very clear, structured mind. And we were talking about the diamond approach. And, you know, he's been trying to get some sense of it from me. And we knew each other, in fact, from the days when I used to work as an actuary. So he knows that I can think in a certain way. And so he thinks this diamond approach thing might be interesting, but he kind of still couldn't quite get it. And so we were talking and I said, you know, you think of those situations, right, when you're dealing with a problem and you get stuck, right? And you're wrestling with it and your mind is thick and heavy and you just can't seem to get anywhere. And he said, yeah, I know exactly what that's like. He said, I call it the fog. So I said, well, if you look at that experience, you probably notice that that fogginess, right, is something that you can sense. It's not actually just a metaphor. There's something quite tangible, quite palpable in your experience. Maybe your head feels thick and dull and heavy and all of that. And he said, yes, I know exactly what you mean. He said, I call it the fog. He said, sometimes it's actually like a white, I feel it like a white sort of misty fog in my head. And he said, I know when that happens, it's just time to get out of there. I put the problem down, I go for a walk, have a nap, just get out of there because I'm not making any progress. So I said to him, that's great. So you can recognize that you can actually sense the quality of your consciousness, the quality of yourself, in this case of your mind, right, as you're working on this problem. And there's a particular state that you can feel that feels thick and foggy and dull and like it's not going anyways. He says, yes, got that. So I said, you probably also in those states where it kind of opens up and where it gets all clear and you have this clarity and you really get what's, you know, your mind feels clear and sharp and you really get it. And he said, yes, of course. He said, I have that often when I've been working on something and thinking about it. Maybe the next day I come to that problem and it's like, ka-ching, everything is clear. My mind, he says, feels just like open and spacious and clear and the exact opposite of the fog. So I said to him, yeah, so notice that, right? Notice that you can actually sense the clarity as well, right? Clear, open, unobstructed. He said, yeah, no, he gets that. That's totally palpable. It's sometimes, he said, sometimes it even feels like my head is not there, like there's just air, like an airy, light, cool, crisp clarity. So I said, amazing, right? So the fact that you can sense the felt sense of your mind in this case, that you know that there's something that you can sense in a similar way to the way you would sense your physical body, but it's not exactly your physical body. He's like, yeah, got it, right. So now take that sense of clarity, right? That same sense of open, clear, unobstructedness, and let that clarity, imagine if that clarity becomes so clear and so sharp and so penetrating that it can penetrate and cut into any problem, anything that you're dealing with. It has that kind of clear objectivity. And he sat there and his eyes went wide. He said, oh my God, that's it. He said, that's the diamond in diamond approach. He said, I actually have had that experience once or twice when I have had like just a taste of that kind of sharpness. And I had goosebumps, right? And I said, yeah, like that's it. This kind of clarity, this kind of sharp objective precision, right? In your knowing, in your understanding, it's not just a metaphor, it is actually something that you can sense, a way that you can sense and know your own mind. And as it turns out, not just your mind. It turns out that kind of clarity can arise in your mind, it can arise in your heart, right? It can arise in your living, right? So that in time, your whole life can become an expression of that kind of objectivity, that kind of precise, clear realization. And he got it. He really got it. So really the leap, I think the leap for many people is to recognize that inner states are not just intangible inner states. I mean, they are intangible, but you can tangible them in a certain way, right? You can touch them. You can sense and know them, right? Just like you can know the thick heaviness or the clarity in your mind, just like you can know the feeling of joy and delight bubbling up in your heart, right, in your chest. What is that? It's not actually your physical heart, but it's something that you can tangibly sense and feel in your experience. Once you get that, once you get that there is, in the Diamond Approach, we call it the felt sense, that that's a real thing, and that we, for some reason, don't talk much about it, and yet it really is part of normal experience. Once you get that, then the rest is not complicated, right? Then the rest is a question of realizing that that is something real that you can explore and discover and develop, just like anything else you can explore and discover and develop. And that is what we do with